Lama Tsongkhapa's In Praise of Dependent Origination is an outstanding and profound poem that explains the deep meaning of dependent origination and emptiness. When His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche was alive, he often spoke highly of the brilliance of this poem. His opinion was that, as a follower of the Buddha, even if one is unable to extensively study all of Lama Tsongkhapa's supreme writings, one should at least study his short and pithy treatises, such as In Praise of Dependent Origination and Three Principal Aspects of the Path. Over the course of Buddhist history, there have been many other renowned Buddhist practitioners who have attached great importance to In Praise of Dependent Origination as well. An excellent example of these is the great Tibetan scholar Jenden Chafel, who it is said just before passing into nirvana, asked his attendant to read the poems to him. Lama Tsongkhapa's In Praise of Dependent Origination and Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche's Prayer to the Indivisible Basis, Path, and Fruit of the Great Perfection of Manjushri. After having listened to the words of these two poems, he was to have said, "Now I have totally understood the illusory essence of the world's manifestation. Everything has been perfectly achieved." The next day, when the attendant arrived, he found that the great master had already passed into nirvana during the night. It is said that on one occasion, while engaged in ascetic practice, Lama Tsongkhapa received a spiritual vision during which Manjushri appeared before him. Manjushri prophesies that Lama Tsongkhapa would attain enlightenment through the blessings of Nagarjuna and Aryadeva, and that in addition, he would also bring enormous benefit to all living beings through his Dharma activities. However, before this came to fruition, he must be diligent in accumulating merit. Later, after having received this prophecy, Lama Tsongkhapa had a dream in which he saw 5 important Madhyamika commentators, Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Buddhapalita, Chandrakirti, and Bhavaviveka, and in which Buddhapalita blessed him by placing the Shastra of Buddha Palativti on his head. After waking from this dream, Lama Tsongkhapa immediately found this text, and while reading the verse, "External objects exist conventionally, while ultimately lacking intrinsic existence," he achieved enlightenment. After his enlightenment, Lama Tsongkhapa developed an unsurpassable confidence in emptiness, and an irreversible faith in Buddha Shakyamuni arose within him. As a result, he composed the poem In Praise of Dependent Origination, which was his first writing after his enlightenment, and which, upon completion, became very popular. Khenpo Sodargye Rinpoche first translated this poem from Tibetan into Chinese in 2004, adding some corrections to his translation in 2007. However, it was not until 2010 that Khenpo Sodargye was able to give teachings on this poem. As he said, "All things are like this, including Dharma teaching. Without the coming together of proper causes and conditions, things will not happen." Khenpo has also said that by learning this great text, he is certain that followers of the Dharma will develop great faith in Buddha Shakyamuni and gain a deep understanding of the Dharma teachings. As long as one listens to the teachings properly, reflects on their meaning carefully, and meditates on them diligently, one will be able to attain a certain level of realization. The title, In Praise of Dependent Origination, does not mean that it is the intention of the author to solely praise the teaching of dependent origination. Actually, in this poem the author directly praises Buddha Shakyamuni and indirectly praises the teaching on emptiness and appearance. Why, it is well known that Buddha Shakyamuni, in the beginning, aroused bodhicitta, in the middle, accumulated incredible merit for 3 great eons, and in the end, achieved Buddhahood. After his awakening, the Buddha taught the 84,000 paths of Dharma practice to living beings. Among all of his teachings, the Buddha taught the most profound principles of dependent origination and emptiness, with the supreme wisdom of his own enlightenment. This is a unique teaching that cannot be taught by any other great scholar or person of wisdom from any of the other schools of philosophy. Therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa praises the Buddha in a way that acknowledges that apart from Buddha Shakyamuni, no one else in this world had attained the realization of dependent origination and given these enlightened teachings. It is for this reason that one should praise the Buddha with great gratitude. As we know, every living being in this world wants to pursue happiness. However, in spite of this wish, most of the time, living beings end up experiencing the pain of suffering. How then can we break away from the cycle of suffering? It is through learning and realizing the truth of dependent origination. Who discovered and first taught this truth? It was Buddha Shakyamuni. Therefore, as a follower of the Buddha, Lama Tsongkhapa praises the Buddha in this way. Homage to my Guru, Manjughosha. Right at the beginning of this poem, Lama Tsongkhapa pays homage to his Guru and Manjushri. This is the homage in general, which indicates that this text belongs to Abhidharma within the category of the 3 Pitakas Vinaya Sutras Abhidharma. He who speaks on the basis of seeing, this makes him a knower and a teacher unexcelled. I bow to you, O conqueror, you who saw dependent origination and taught it. I bow to you, the triumphant Buddha, who has seen and taught dependent arising, which to see makes you a knower, and to speak of makes you an unsurpassable instructor. The wisdom of the Buddha. This is the homage to Buddha Shakyamuni. The Buddha saw and realized the truth of dependent origination through his own enlightenment, and furthermore taught this truth to his followers. Because of seeing, he is a great knower, and because of having taught it, he is an unsurpassable teacher. Therefore the author, with all his reverence, bows to the Buddha. Essentially speaking, the unexcelled wisdom of the Buddha is exactly the full realization of emptiness and dependent origination. It is because of this that the Buddha is also called the conqueror in this world. Dependent origination has both a relative level and an ultimate level. The relative level of dependent origination means that the arising of all phenomena depends on proper causes and conditions. There are no phenomena that arise independently or that do not arise when the proper causes and conditions come together. The ultimate level of dependent origination means that the appearance of all phenomena by nature is beyond the 4 extremes or the 8 kind of elaborations. This is the nature of all phenomena. The Buddha perceived the ultimate truth of emptiness and the relative truth of appearance, and furthermore, he directly taught this truth to all living beings. As such, the Buddha is wisdom, and his teachings can be said to be unsurpassed in this world. Therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa pays homage to the Buddha with reverence and respect. The way of paying homage. This is a wonderful method of paying homage that we should remember. As a matter of fact, in many great treatises, the authors pay homage in this manner. For example, at the beginning of the root stanzas on the middle way, Nagarjuna says, "To him who taught that things arise dependently, not ceasing, not arising, not annihilated nor yet permanent, not coming, not departing, not different, not the same, the stilling of all thought, and perfect peace. To him, the best of teachers, perfect Buddha, I bow down." At the end of the text, again Nagarjuna says, "To him who in compassionate wisdom taught the sacred Dharma for the shunning of all views, to him too Gautama I bow." These stanzas explain how the Buddha taught the principle of dependent origination to all sentient beings to eradicate their wrong views, delusions, and ignorance. Hence, Nagarjuna respectfully pays homage to him. At the beginning of the commentary on the Ornament of the Middle Way, Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche also praises Buddha Shakyamuni for his unexcelled teachings of dependent origination. To you, O peerless one, who spoke supremely well, discoursing on the wondrous path, dependent co-arising, which looses all the strings and fetters of samsara, to you, Lord, Lord of the Shakyas, I bow down. As followers, we should praise and pay homage to the Buddha in this way because the Buddha is unique and differs from all other wise people of this world. Worldly intelligent people can only make contributions to society in a certain field, but the Buddha can solve the mental problems of all living beings by teaching dependent origination and emptiness. Accordingly, in the Mulasarvastiva Vinaya, the Buddha is paid homage to in the following way. I pay homage to the King of Doctors, as you are good at solving mental problems. Although you are far away from us, your teachings can inspire us to be wise.